Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Naomi Rook. If you're brand new to my channel, consider subscribing. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Also, make sure to ring the notification bell so you can be notified anytime I do upload a video. Today is going to be a review and wear test of the new, this is the Sheglam foundation. This is the Skinfluencer Foundation Balm. It is a new little balm foundation. I have never tried a balm foundation ever before. I did get this in the color Sand. It is quite far in the shade range. There are 30 shades, which is incredible. I really like the shade range. It goes from very light to quite deep. I know there have been some controversy with Shein lately. I'm not going to feed into that right now. I have my personal opinions on that whole matter, but I do want to try this foundation just to let you know how I personally like the foundation, if I think it works. So if you want to try it, you can. If you're against the brand, I totally understand that, and you can go ahead and skip this foundation. So it does retail for $8.49. I did get it for $6.99 because I did have a discount code. You can always find discount codes for Sheglam, so it's under $7 with the discount code. I like that price. That is a great price range. So the details read, get high coverage with an instantly flawless application, faster than ever with a few strokes of a makeup brush. Our exclusive and non-greasy formula is long-wearing, adopting an oil and water emulsification system which adheres to skin with a thin consistency. Our long-lasting antioxidant formula features a 10 to 25 micron pre-mixed powder using amino acid wrapping technology to resist oil and sweat for makeup that stays without dulling. It's to moisturize skin, suitable for sensitive skin, talc-free, alcohol-free, non-allergenic ingredients. So it is supposed to be long wearing, it's supposed to adhere to the skin, it's supposed to be very thin formula. It says it is high coverage, long lasting, suitable for sensitive skin, not greasy formula. All those claims sound nice. I did want to find something that is a bit more full coverage for the summertime when it's a little hot. I wanted to see if this is going to kind of melt off the skin. I have used this now 4 or 5 times. I do have some thoughts on it. I think it looks absolutely stunning today, the way I applied it with the proper primer. This might be a more picky foundation, something that has to go with a very specific primer. I did apply the Power Grip primer today. You will see that in the clip. So I really like how this looks today. I definitely want to wait for the wear test because the times I've used it so far, it didn't last very long. It did get kind of oilier through the day, which is kind of strange for me because I do have drier skin. Definitely it's summertime, so I sweat a little bit more. So I am very curious to know how it's going to wear today with that specific primer. So I'm going to go ahead and hop into the demo and how I applied the makeup today. So if you'd like to see that, go ahead and keep watching and let's get her done. So I have my eyebrows done. I have my eyeshadow on. For eyeshadow, I am using the Oden's Eye X Angelica. This is the Hela palette. I love this palette. And then it matches my shirt, so I wanted to do something like neon yellow green. Is like one of my favorite combinations for eyeshadow, especially during the summer when I'm doing kind of a glowier face. So I'm going to go ahead and hop in with foundation, but before I do the foundation, I am going to do some priming on my face. I have used this foundation a few times, so I am kind of aware of how it sits on my skin. So the primer I think is going to work probably the best is the E.L.F Power Grip primer. I really enjoy this primer a lot. It definitely adheres to my skin and really helps the makeup last a long time. I do like that it has kind of a stickier base to the skin. Everything on top just lasts a really long time, and it really just lays nicely over this primer. So I'm going to use this primer because the only thing so far that I will note about this foundation, it is not super long lasting. I have heard that about balm foundations before, that they just don't last or really stay on your skin all that long. So I'm going to use this, and I think this is going to help the longevity of the foundation, so I'm really excited. So I'm just going to press that into my skin and make sure that is really kind of melted down, and then I'm going to let it set on my skin for probably about 30 seconds, and then on top of it I will go with foundation. Now I'm going to go in with the foundation. So I do have this in the color Sand. It is a little bit darker for me right now, but I did want to get this in my summer shade. It comes in this really kind of cool packaging. It's a little kind of square pot, and then you can see inside it is pretty liquidy for a balm. It's not really hard pressed balm. And I know that because I kind of stored it almost at an angle, and you can tell that it all kind of came down in there. So it's not a super hard pressed balm. It's a little bit more liquidy. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go in with a foundation brush first, just to see how much coverage I can get. It's supposed to be a more full coverage foundation, and I feel like a sponge is probably going to make it a little bit more sheer. So I'm going to use just a foundation brush that I got off of Amazon. It's one of the only brushes that I have that's clean. I'm going to go ahead and just tap right into the balm and then just apply it onto my skin. Like I said, I have used this a few times, so I definitely have some thoughts, but I'm going to just show you all the different options for applying it and how it looks. So maybe one side I'll do the brush, and on the other side I'll do a sponge, so we can see the different amount of coverage we can get. Foundation is a little dark for me. It's not a big deal because I will just bronze up my neck with some bronzer. That's what I do if my foundation is just a little bit too dark, so that's not a big deal. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of stipple this, tapping it into my skin, not swirling it. I am getting pretty good coverage. I'm going to put just a little bit more over my redness. I'm going to see if I can get this to a full coverage. I'm going to put a little bit on my forehead. I don't need a ton of foundation on my forehead, but just because it's a little bit dark, I'm going to put a little bit more, so everything is completely even. There is this side with foundation. I do think it gives me a nice medium coverage. I wouldn't say it's the fullest coverage ever. You can still see a tiny bit of redness right on my cheeks. And there is the side with no foundation. It definitely evens out my skin tone. It looks pretty nice up close. Has a more satin, not dewy, but definitely a more healthy skin-like finish. It's covering pretty much all my freckles, just a little bit of redness peeking through. Not bad though. So I think on the other side, I am going to go ahead and just take my sponge, and I'm just going to tap it right into the balm, and then just kind of see what it looks like with a sponge. That actually gave me really full coverage also. I don't know if I notice a huge difference in the amount of coverage. I got a lot of coverage with that sponge. So I'm just going to blend that out. I prefer to use a sponge. I like the feel of it, but if a foundation doesn't apply well with a sponge, I don't have any issue using a brush. I like brushes as well. Just a sponge kind of feels just cooler and nicer on the skin. So there is that applied with the sponge, and honestly, I might have gotten more coverage from the sponge, which is kind of weird because normally you get a little bit more coverage with a brush, but I actually prefer it, I think, with the sponge versus the foundation brush. All right, I zoomed you up close. I think I definitely have more coverage on this side with the sponge than this side with the brush. I think they both do look really luminous, very pretty skin-like. I won't say it's the most smoothing foundation. I can definitely see a little bit of my smile lines kind of settling in there. Don't think I'm going to build it up anymore because it is looking a little heavy. It just doesn't look the most smooth on the skin. So I think I'm going to go ahead and leave it there. I do have really good medium coverage, nice luminous glow. It looks really pretty on the skin. So I'm going to go ahead on top of it with my other makeup. I figured I would just go ahead and do that with you guys. I'm going to go with my Sheglam. This is the Versatile Flawless Concealer. I really like this. It's a little bit light for me right now, which I think would be perfect to kind of try to balance out the darkness of the foundation. And to blend that concealer out, I'm going to go with my Delamy Tools. This is the 788 PDHD Phase 3 concealer brush. And then I'm just going to go ahead and tap that right into place. I really like this concealer. I used it a lot. When I first got it, I did get it in the winter, so it is a winter shade. And I haven't been able to use it a whole lot because it's a little light for me. But I'm going to make it work. I really wanted to use Sheglam's concealer along with their foundation. So I like to just kind of tap that out with a brush, and then I will go over it with a sponge. Go in with my sponge, tap that out. This is a really nice, lightweight, really hydrating concealer too. So I like this one a lot, and I think it's going to go really well with that foundation balm. It left the luminosity. It almost has the same finish as the foundation, so that works really well. So there is the concealer and the foundation. I don't see the concealer messing with the coverage of the foundation at all. Actually, the finish is almost identical, which is really pretty, very luminous. It's more of a medium coverage, medium to light coverage from that concealer, but that is just fine with me. So I think what I'm going to do is hop off and do the rest of my makeup, and then I will come back to let you know how everything applied. I am going to be applying a Balm bronzer. I'm going to do a liquid blush and then cream highlighter and then powder. And I want to see how this foundation is going to work with creams and liquids. So I'm going to hop off, do all of that, and then I'll be right back to show you how it all looks. I will also be doing a wear test today, and then I am going to show you how this looks in the sunlight. Alright, so there is the finished makeup. I love how this turned out. I'm going to tell you about all the products that I applied on top of the foundation and how I felt they went on. The first thing is the Soul Body, the Face and Body Bronzing Balm. I absolutely love this. This is a thicker bronzing type of balm. I love how this applied on top of it. Super smooth. No breakup whatsoever. Went over really nicely. Next, I went in with the Natasha Denona. This is the Diamond and Blush palette. I love this palette so much. So I did use the cream blush and I used the cream highlighter. Went on really nice on top of it. No breakup at all. And I did use a thicker, kind of a more dense brush for the highlighter, and I didn't have any breakup or anything. Went on really smooth. I did powder a little bit, and I used, of course, my Kosas and my Jaclyn Cosmetic Brightening Palette. I will say I feel maybe a little bit too dewy. I did use my Morphe setting spray, which I use all the time, but it might be just a little bit too dewy, mostly because it's going to be a really warm day, and I know this foundation gets a little dewier as you wear it. So I am going to go ahead and apply a little bit of my Maybelline Fit Me. I have this in light. I wanted to do this on film with you guys so I can kind of show you what I do. I just tap just the tiniest amount, tap it off. I can't use a lot of powder because I do have drier skin. And then I'm going to apply a little bit under my eyes and a little bit up the bridge of my nose, in between my eyebrows and on my forehead, and just take a little bit of that glowiness down, just because this foundation does get glowier as you wear it. So there is the finished look. Oh, and my lip combo, I'm absolutely loving this. This is the Morphe Sweet Tea and then the Vieve lipstick in Vieve. Love that lip combo, looks really nice. So then I did bronze my neck, and then to bronze my neck, I always use my Milani. This is the Soleil Baked Bronzer. I love this so much. It is the most perfect body bronzer ever because it does have like little flecks of gold glitter, so it does just add that beautiful glow to your chest, but then does kind of leave a little bit of body glitter, which I personally like. Might not be your favorite thing in the world, but I definitely like that, especially during the summer. So this is the finished look. I'm so excited about how this looks. I do have a few thoughts on this foundation, but I'm going to leave those for the end of the video because today when I applied it, it has looked a lot better and smoother than ever before, and I have not used this foundation on top of this primer before, so that might have been what I was missing in all the other times I applied that foundation. So I am going to hop off. I will insert a little clip of me in the daylight just so you can see how really beautiful this looks in the daylight, and then I'm going to do the longest wear test I possibly can. It is 10 o'clock right now. I'm not sure how long I can wear this foundation because I possibly might take my children swimming today, and if I do that, I will take my makeup off because I do like to swim with them. So I will check in at whatever time I can today and let you know how it's worn so far. Alright, so there it is in pretty direct sunlight. I'm going to zoom you up just a little bit. I want to show you how this foundation looks. Hold on one second. So there we go. Maybe a little heavy around my mouth. A little bit right here, but really it just looks beautiful and it looks glowy. I love how this is looking, especially with the specific primer that I put under it. And I have a wear test coming in a couple hours. I just wanted to show you it in the daylight. So there is that, and I will see you in just a few hours. Alright, so this is not the same day. That day ended really late in the evening, so I wasn't able to do like an exit to the video for the wear test, but it was actually really nice because I'm now wearing it again today, and I've worn it a couple more times since the video. It's been 3 days now, and I've worn it every single day to try with new primers, and I feel like I have a really great understanding of this foundation. The day of the initial wear test, I wore it. It was 95 degrees outside. I went swimming. I tried to keep my face out of the water as best as I could, but I was outside for a long time. I had my makeup on till almost 10 o'clock at night. It did get a little oily. It looks a little kind of greasy, but it lasted a lot longer than it had previously with more of my luminous primers. Today I am wearing the Maybelline Master Blur Stick Primer. I am finding that I really like this foundation. With long wear, blurring, kind of more sticky primers, it's really holding on to the foundation. I don't think this foundation is going to be good for people with oily skin. I think it's just going to melt right off your face. It doesn't last very long. Even on my skin, when I have more dry skin, it's not super long lasting. But if I use a gripping primer or a pore filling like long wear primer, I do find that it can look really, really pretty. My skin looks very flawless today, and I pretty much put the primer like right here where I have some pores and right here, and it hasn't gotten super oily. I have had the makeup on today since about noon, so it's been actually lasting a lot longer than it had previously. I do like this foundation. I will say it seems a little bit more picky. I have to be kind of particular about the primers I put underneath, and I don't think it lasts very long. I don't think it's going to be my absolute favorite for this summer. I don't think it has the longest longevity. I've definitely found ways to make it work to where I can wear it, but it is not my absolute most favorite. It looks really nice today. But if I haven't been outside and it was kind of rainy, kind of cool, I think if it was hot out, I would definitely have a lot more kind of shine coming through and a lot more oiliness, and it'd probably be breaking up a little bit more. But because it was raining and kind of cold and I was inside all day today, it looks a lot better on my skin. But take that information with however you would like. If you have extreme dry skin, I could see you liking this maybe a little bit more because it is quite hydrating. It does give you kind of medium coverage. I also discovered that you have to do a really thin layer. If you build it up to full coverage, it does not look great on your skin, and it definitely kind of slides and moves a lot more. If you do a thin layer, you get light to medium coverage, but you get that really beautiful finish. So do with all the information what you will. If you want to try it out, it isn't super expensive. It's definitely a more affordable foundation. I hope this was helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and I will just catch you on the next video. Bye, guys.